All right, you're watching CNN. I'm Brooke Baldwin. More on this breaking story here out of Lafayette, Louisiana, where we're now learning new details about this man, this 59-year-old man who police say opened fire inside a movie theater last night, killing 2 people, injuring a number of others before ultimately turning the gun on himself. Authorities in Phoenix City, Alabama, where John Russell Hauser once lived, they just gave a news conference, and the sheriff there said he had never been arrested for any kind of violent act. But he did say a number of things. This man was apparently accused of tampering with a gas line and damaging a home where he had been evicted. He had also been denied a gun permit because of his criminal history, specifically a report of domestic violence filed by his then wife, and he had been arrested for a previous arson case. So that explains that, they say. More and more, we are also witnessing these unprovoked violent attacks on unlikely targets, public places that should typically be presumed safe. So why is this happening? Let me bring in our CNN legal analyst, Phil Holloway, who is with me now. And before we get into, listen, guns and movie theaters, just from your legal perspective, you listened to the news conference with the sheriff there in Russell County, Alabama, talking specifically about how they had denied him that concealed carry permit. And you had some thoughts on that. What was that?
Well, the sheriff is absolutely correct. That was a legitimate reason for him to deny being granted the permit to have a concealed weapon. It would not, however, have been enough to prevent him from purchasing, if he wanted to, a gun from a federally licensed firearms dealer, because the federal firearms form asks if you have been adjudicated as mentally defective. Not merely have you ever had treatment for any kind of mental disorder, but have you been adjudicated as such, or are you currently under a restraining order of some type.
Okay, and we know he had been treated apparently for some sort of mental illness in 08, 09. That had been sealed, hearing though from his then wife, specifically manic depression and or bipolar disorder. As far as firearms in movie theaters, you are there in Georgia, and so you do, I don't know if it's all the time or on occasion, you go to the movies with your firearm.
One will never know, but that's correct. Sometimes I do.
And so why do you do that?
Well, to me, it's a matter of personal security, personal safety. I believe that my personal safety is my own personal responsibility. If I have a right to live, I have a right to protect my life. I've been in and around the criminal justice system. I was a deputy sheriff when I was 18 years old. I started shooting guns when I was 9 or 10 years old. So to me, there's something that's they're comfortable. It's a tool. It is an option in the event of a threat posed like this guy that went into the movie theater last night. It's not for everybody, and I'm not suggesting that everyone should go out and buy a gun and take it to the movies with them every time, because active shooter situations are very, very dangerous. And if you have 15 or 20 people in a movie theater who are carrying a concealed weapon and they don't know where the gunfire is coming from, who knows what could happen? That could be an absolute disaster, because active shooter situations, the police officers are trained that just because somebody has a gun and they're in plain clothes, they may not be the bad guy.
Do you think, just quickly, final question, do you think when we talk about soft targets, sporting events, movie theaters, obviously we're watching this trial play out in Aurora, Colorado, should we be walking through metal detectors? I mean, should things change, sadly?
Well, of course, there's really no good answer to that question, because security can be as simple as a police officer posted at the front door, off duty, maybe working a second job. We could have metal detectors. At some point, there's a cost-benefit analysis. You and I are both right now sitting in very secure buildings that are not soft targets. We have armed guards here, but when you're out in public, who knows? Who knows what's around? Just because there's a sign on the door that says no guns allowed, that's not going to stop somebody from walking in and opening fire, because by definition, criminals, Brooke, as you know, do not follow the law.
Right. Well, a metal detector may not either. Philip Holloway.
Yeah.
Thank you.
James Holmes snuck it in the back door.
He did, sadly.
Yeah.
Thank you.